Boom.
For the Freight Fraud Task Force and the Freight Fraud Summit, this is the Tic Toc Diner Podcast, where your hosts, John Cantera and Jeff Dickinson, serve up some freight fraud with a side of prevention. Grab a menu and have a seat. Your table is ready at the Tic Toc Diner.
And welcome to the Tic Toc Diner. Glad to have you with us. We're starting still a little bit late, but we've been having some good conversations, frankly, all morning long. Jeff and I were on a show earlier this morning, and I don't think those conversations have yet stopped. Jeff, how are you doing today, sir?
The same as I was this morning. I mean, you're right. It seems like it's just one of those days where it's just podcast, listening to people complain, listening to their stories that are just unbelievable but true. As we were just talking earlier, that unfortunately and fortunately, we went through our guests' debacle at some point in our career, where the things that we faced and done is just, it was sad at the time, but it's laughable now. You know, it's just, I don't know. I can't wait for the guests to come on board because it was a blast for sure.
Well, we were on a show earlier today, and a shout out to Spencer and them over at Road Dog Coffee. Check out the Road Dog Coffee podcast. It is available on Thursdays, 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern. Check us out. Jeff and I are regulars out there, but it's brought on by Spencer and Pedro over at the Logistics Lounge. It's a nice little hangout. And that's basically what we do. We hang out. We talk about trucking. We talk about supply chain and some of the issues going on. Today we talked a lot about fraud, which is pretty much why it feels like the conversation from this morning never ended. Because I don't know about you, Jeff, but I've had phone calls pretty much nonstop, both during that show and since, for all sorts of things. I just got my third Freight Guard case of the day in the last 5 minutes. That was texted to me. So I've got more phone calls to make when this is done. You know, it's crazy to see all the crap that goes on in this industry. And, you know, today we're not just talking about trucking. We're actually hitting the warehousing side today, because warehousing, as we both know, is probably the front line and last line of defense when it comes to freight fraud. The warehouses can do so much to stop this. The question is, why don't they? And that's one of the things that our guest is going to be helping us to address. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and introduce John Larari. He is a regular out there on LinkedIn. He comments all the time on all of our freight fraud stuff, and he is very adept at what's going on in freight fraud. And boy, let me tell you something, from the warehouse, he knows how this plays out. John, how you doing today?
Guys, thank you for having me on. How are you?
Good.
It's another day in paradise. Now, backstage, we were talking, and you are out in Vegas right now, right?
Yes, sir.
And unfortunately, for the last 6 months, you have been out there on the job market. It looks like that is finally coming to an end, because we all know how horrible the freaking job market's been. I mean, hell, I've been on the market for I don't know how long. So what are you doing now? What's going on? What's the plan?
Right now, I'm just a little warehouse clerk at a little locker manufacturing company out here. Really disorganized, filthy-ass warehouse. It doesn't know what they're doing. But as of 2 days ago, I finally got an offer. Got a real job coming once the background check gets through, and I go take the urine screen, which will happen after this.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's always a good thing.
Thank you.
I got to ask, why did you move from New York to Vegas?
She's on the other side of the wall. So
that's a very, very good reason.
Yep.
That's a very good reason.
My wife lived out here, I guess, for a year or two when she was younger, in her 20s. And this was before we met. And she loved it out. She went home to take care of her mother, who became sick after her father passed away. And then we met and we stayed there. And she's like, I always wanted to come back. Always. It's all I ever heard from her is, we're going to move. Well, we moved. She wins.
You always do.
And there she is in the background. I don't know if you can hear her. I always do.
Ding, 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 ding.
Hey, it is very true what they say. Happy wife, happy life.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
Jeff, you've been married for 40 years. I've been married for almost 26 years now. And I know I moved to Florida because, well, my wife, she wanted to move back to Florida. She's from Pensacola. Her family was here. What really drove me nuts when we moved here about 4 years ago, her parents, within 3 months of us moving here, decided, you know what? We're going to sell the house. We're going to get an RV and we're going to travel the country. And they traveled for about 3 years across the country before finally settling in outside of Orlando, between Orlando and Tampa. And I'm just like, that's a 7-hour drive. I'm back to driving 7 hours for holidays, 7 hours for long weekends. I'm back to the long drives again. What the hell? We moved here to be closer to you. And then
You moved the fuck away.
What the hell? You know?
Yeah, I know about moving. I mean, very difficult when your kids are young and they're in school and all that. I mean, I had an opportunity in Green Bay, guess for who, and I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to go, and turned it down, and voila, I ended up some other place for sure, but it's those decisions that you just got to make. And sometimes you're like, well, what would have happened if I did that? Where would I be now? Would I still be in trucking? Would I be on the logistics side or the national side? What would I be doing? God only knows, but those are the chances that we take, especially in logistics. A lot of people move in logistics. So it's not surprising how many jobs people have and stuff like that. Either, you get promoted or someone comes reaching out to you, or you decide you want more on your plate and you go and take that leap of faith. I mean, that's what logistics is all about. You're definitely not stationary, for sure. No way.
Never.
Oh boy. And here goes the dogs. I don't mind when my wife is the voice in the background. It's when the dog is the voice in the background. That drives me insane. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about warehouses. Like I said before, when we first started the show, we know, those of us who deal with freight fraud all the time, we know that the warehouses are the front line and the last line of defense. We know that all it takes for them to be able to be effective in dealing with freight fraud is verify. Take a look at the side of the truck. Take a look at the VIN number of the tractor. Take a look at the driver's license. Those 3 things alone can stop a lot of the stuff that's going on. What is some of the stuff that you've encountered, John, over your time dealing with warehousing? What have you dealt with?
So what you actually have going on, and you guys will probably vouch for this, is you have guys thinking right now in the this is cheaper now category. This makes my budget look great now. So you contract a cheaper carrier, cheaper driver, whatever you care to call them. Okay, great. They're looking cheap now. Are you looking long term? You're not looking at what that can cost you long term. So what you have is a management style that says, oh, what's my bonus going to be this year if I stay under budget now? I liken this to the argument I made with everybody knows what a retreaded tire is, right? How many retreads have you seen on the road when you've been driving down? They blow. 3 retreads where I came from was basically the equivalent of one new tire. They'd last about the same. Okay, but how much did those retreads cost you in addition to get them changed if you didn't have, which we didn't, our own on-site mechanic? So you had to go get someone to change the tire. Okay, you had to call the service call out there to go do it when it blew on the road. So how much did those 3 retreads that look cheap now cost you rather than just buy the new tires in the first place? You're doing the same thing. You're contracting the cheap carrier. You're contracting the cheap freight. So your boss, who wants to be a cheap bastard, okay, is looking at your budget saying, oh, you're doing great. Here's a bonus. Then your load gets stolen. Why don't you ask Nike, Guy Fieri, and the guys at Zen how the fuck that feels right now?
And there goes your bonus.
Yeah, Jeff,
Yes, sir.
we're going to make this 10 for 10 now. We're going to make this 10 for 10. What's your famous saying about being cheap?
Going cheap will be the most expensive decision that you'll ever make.
Always is.
That's it. Don't go cheap. Man.
It is universal. This is a universal thing. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching this or listening to this, or even if you're listening to the recording later, okay, Jeff has been saying this, I kid you not, for at least 4,000 years since he was building pyramids, okay? I mean, it is the absolute truth. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I don't know. So I'm 10 for 10 also now. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's true.
Now theory does not work.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And you're hitting the nail on the head. And that is the problem, I think, industry-wide. And it's not just with carriers. It's not just with brokers. It's with warehouses too. Everyone is trying to find the cheapest thing. Okay, margin's important. I'm not going to argue that. I own my own business. Of course, margin's important.
Yeah, we don't.
At what cost? At the end of the day,
great
what
question.
Cost? No one sees that.
John, that's a great question. And is it a fault of mine? Maybe not. But I have the mentality of a shipper because I was on that side for so many years. And when I deal with my customers, I always say in the back of my mind, would I do this to myself? I mean, it's like I understand the pressures from the CFO, the COO, the president of a company, and what you're hired to do. And of course, suppress costs, keep the costs down and everything. But at what cost? That the question you have to say is at what cost? And you heard me say this, John, both Johns, I'm really not a fan of brokers, and I hate to say that because I got a lot of brokers, broker friends out there that I love, and I call them my friends and everything. But there are just a ton of brokers out there that just give the good a bad name. It's just it's horrible, and what they do helps me to uncover the problems that shippers do. I mean, it's like. And it's a case of fraud. It's a case of fraud because of the upcharges on accessorial fees. What gives you the right to upcharge an accessorial fee? What are you doing? It's just a lift gate. It costs $100 as an accessorial. You charge $150, so you can put $50 in your pocket. Or upcharging FSC. Oh, it's built in the cost. Well, how about you take the fuel surcharge off that and just base your margins on the base? Because FSC is a pass-through. I call that a fraudulent activity. I don't do that. My margins are based off of base. And I know how to save money for the shippers out there. But inclusive costs. I mean, you're in the warehouse right now. When you get an inclusive cost. Do a lot of people break that down into line item details to see what you're paying for each itemized? No,
not one bit.
They don't do that. And you heard me say this all the time, and you should use it in your language too. Hidden bank opportunities. It's newfound money that's always been there, but you never realized it. That can go right back to your bottom line and make you look even bigger and brighter. And more value add to the company when you're able to to sort those things out. I could talk on warehousing for so long. This is not my show; it's yours, John. So you take over.
Nope.
Well, I'm so glad we're doing a warehousing show because I've been seeing so many different issues across the transportation industry where if trucking and warehousing actually talk to each other, then we'd be able to resolve a lot of these things. Like, let's talk. You mentioned accessorials, Jeff. When I was running warehouses, the brokers who worked with us were very clear. You have specific timelines. You will get charged for detention. You will get charged for layover. You will get charged for these things. So, we had the processes on our dock to make sure that we never had to deal with any of those charges. you know, and because it wasn't a question of whether or not I was going to agree to pay it. Whereas a lot of carriers today sit there and say, oh, yeah, no, I charge them for detention, but the warehouse refused to agree to pay it. I mean, like, wait.
No,
but your contract's not with the warehouse, it's with the broker. So why the hell did the broker not pay it? Well, yeah, broker's not paying it because the warehouse is. Well, broker, why the fuck aren't you charging it anyway? Well, we don't want to lose the customer. What?
All right. And then there's, all of that's the nightmare. And let me liken that actually with a really recent example of what the fuck goes on the inside. Okay, we just had a customer, the place I'm at now, excuse me, sorry, where they wanted some lockers for what they do. Great, you won. We manufacture the parts, but we don't order, which is like the electric parts. That obviously is, but we manufacture all the metal, all of this, all of that. Let's start right off the bat. Piece of sheet metal, 48 by 120, 48 inches by 120 inches. You can get a lot of shit out of that, except for like the big walls and shit, right? So if you have a part, now every system has this, you have your demand, you have your forecast demands. You can look at all of this, correct? And a piece of sheet metal can be used to make more than one kind of part. Am I correct here? So why the fuck are you telling me that you are going to finish the sheet when you have a piece that, and it's a smaller piece, you have a piece that you need 5 of for the order you have now, you have demand in the system for 15 more, okay? You have a forecast for 25 more, and you have 30 sitting on the shelf. So now you're going to make 170 because that's what you got out of the sheet. You're wasting money right there. You can waste money all over the place. You have to look at the little shit. Okay. But going on further with this customer now, everyone knows you get a truck in that door, you're paying. Okay. It's Friday. Now, I've never seen this before, and I hope I never see it again. And if I was in anywhere in upper management, the meeting would not be pleasant. It's Friday. Okay. We needed 5 different trucks for it because of where it was going. Okay. Holy shit. Friday comes, the truck's sitting in the dock. There's still parts being made. Forget sent through and getting painted. Forget being assembled. Forget them being in the package ready to go on the truck. They're still being fucking made. You're paying for a truck. You're paying for these trucks. They're all there. All fucking 5 of them are there. It wasn't finished Friday. All fucking 5 of them got sent away. We all come in on Saturday to finish it. All fucking 5 trucks show up at 10 a.m. because that's what they told them to sign up because they brought us in at 5 a.m. to get it done. Guess what? We get it all done. Now the boss is on with the engineer. We had the wrong fucking plans. They did a plan redesign. We had the wrong fucking plans. So in our eyes, they're ready. They're not fucking ready. 5 trucks, day 2, bye-bye, you're not loaded. Monday comes. Monday comes. You have 5 trucks come back. Guess what? Monday, they weren't ready either. So now you have the trucks come back Tuesday, and you finally get to load the fucking trucks. How much fucking money did you just waste, you stupid motherfucker, because you can't come up with a way to use your system of labor tracking that you fucking have to figure out when the shit's actually going to be ready and when it's time to call the trucks in?
How many tonneau charges and layover charges were on top of that?
I couldn't answer you because I'm not on that level here. I'm just a lowly little piece of shit who process the inventory. So, it's and if anybody, I apologize for laughing while you guys are speaking, but my wife in the background who likes to point out things was giving me notes.
I'm sorry. It does happen to me. So it's not my fault that I have a career that is thriving. Okay.
So for everyone that knows me, I love my wife with a passion. If anybody has ever been on the phone with me, this right here is absolutely fucking normal. If she'd get on camera, I would have her here, but she will not get on camera right now.
I'll tell you what, John.
Hold on, wait a minute.
my emotional.
I do. It's my job.
My
Love y'all. Peace.
I can tell you right now, John, from my emotional intelligence, I know damn well who wears the pants in that family.
I don't fucking deny it one goddamn bit. I never have. 20 fucking years. Nope. I'm fine with admitting the truth.
Amen. Boy, you know what that's like.
You're still going, by the way.
I think the only
wife
time that I was ever
wrong.
in charge in my house was when I was on active duty, when I was active duty military, only because I got to do what the military says first. And you know, and boy, that was enough of a bone of contention. But oh yeah, no. When my wife says jump, it's usually yes, ma'am, how high?
Yep,
and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Because frankly, when I was in the military, my wife followed me everywhere. She went with me to Montana, Texas, Louisiana, Florida, South Korea. She went everywhere with me. So the least I can do for her is to do what she wants. Very happy.
That woman has been with me through 20 years of what this industry can do when it knocks you down and you got to pick yourself back up. And she's never left my side.
You got another 26 years to go. You got another 26 years to go. I hope you last.
Thank you.
I hope you last, because it doesn't get any better. The only thing that I can tell you, it's the mindset does. The mindset will change. And if you change the mindset, you'll last for a long time.
So hold on, we'll see. Hey, Jost, we just got a message in the bottom of the chat that said the fans demand her on camera.
No, absolutely not. Bye. You can find me daily at, are you ready? At Dark Star Studios on TikTok. Rock and roll, baby. I'll see you there.
Whose show is this?
Studios?
It just got hijacked from all of us.
He's like, yeah.
Oh, shit. Guys, I want to apologize. This shit is too funny and I'm enjoying this.
Okay.
Oh, it's a fraudulent attack.
All right, so let's try to get back on track. Where were we?
I have absolutely no idea. I don't.
Wait,
No,
what?
no, but seriously, we're talking about.
No, we weren't.
Yeah, you were. Trust me and not going out with stuff.
That's detention, not retention.
Oh, what the fuck?
Ladies and gentlemen, this show will not be rebroadcast. Due to very complex technical.
Due to illness, the part of the Double Broker Bounty Hunter today, we played by the Double Broker Bounty Hunter. Oh my God.
I did not know any of this was going to happen, guys. I'm sorry, but honestly, I'm sorry to make us all laugh.
Don't be. All things considered, freight fraud, which is all we ever talk about in this show, and I've never expected us to have thousands of people watching the show at any given time. I never even thought of it. We know that freight fraud is frankly a dry topic, and the only people that actually look for these shows and pay attention to what's going on are people who have at one point become victims, so that they don't become victims again. And that's when they really start getting engaged in this type of stuff. And that's all well and good. I'd love to reach people before that ever happens to them, but it's the reality of things. But whenever we can cut loose like this, I'm just happy as hell. I am just happy as hell. I'm loving the hell out of this.
That was the best laugh I've had in a while.
Dark.
I mean,
there you go. There's your plug.
Oh man, I'll tell you what.
All right. I think she's done now.
No, honestly, guys, I'm sorry to hijack your stuff. Have a great day. Have a wonderful week. And again, that's Bye.
That's
I
it.
don't know how much
I
of her
just
is coming through.
It's fantastic. I'm out.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and rein this back in a little bit here.
No.
Okay.
So we're talking about warehousing. We're talking about accountability, responsibility of the logistics manager there. I mean, let's face it, the trifecta is the carriers, the brokers, the shippers. If you touch freight, you have skin in the game. I don't care what anybody says, right? So some of the things that I did and why I didn't face fraud, in a transportation agreement that we used to have at Ford Motor Company, and all the guys out there that are still working for Ford Motor Company work with me, they know this. We used to have like hundreds of claims every single week. I mean, when I say hundreds, we did for black metal, scraped on it, and all this other kind of stuff. So what did I do? I forced the carriers, and making a long story short, I'm paying you millions of dollars to move my freight. I want you to buy scan guns and computers. I want you to put them on the dock. When you come in, you are scanning every single piece I ship. If you're unable to do that, I'm going to go to the next guy that wants your revenue, and it cut it down like unbelievable. It's just part of the engagement, part of the negotiations. Who wouldn't want to work for Ford Motor Company? Who wouldn't want to pull there? I mean, it's a very complex organization and logistics mechanism. And these are the kind of steps that you had to take and force upon, these are the kind of things that are laxing, like another thing too, cages at the entrance doors for carriers, drivers, what kind of relationship are you building? I understand, you don't want them to walk in there because of OSHA, all that kind of stuff. Listen, there's ways of going around that, and plus gives you the ability to talk with the driver. You say, hey Tim, how you doing? My name's not Tim, it's John. Okay, you got the right guy because you faked them out. Can the guy speak English? You're gonna know it right away. If you don't engage with him, you don't know. Now you got an ELP guy. Or if you ask him for a driver's license and you look at his driver's license and it says non-domicile a CDO, I mean, there's so many different things that you can catch that there's no such thing as relationships with carriers and shippers. It's null and void now. It's gone. They destroyed it. And it's such a major part in building relationships and cutting fraud. You have absolutely no idea what you did to yourselves. And it's terrible.
What I used to do when I ran warehouses, and I actually had a coffee bar set up right inside the door where the drivers would come in to check in. Well, we had a coffee bar, we had danishes, fruit. My bathrooms were there.
Yes.
And we kept them clean.
I had pizza for the guys on Friday when they came in. I gave them pizza. They wanted to use the bathroom. I sat on the dock with them, talk about their family. I mean, the engagement goes much further than business. You want to build a relationship, find out their likes, their dislikes, the names of their kids, their wife, how long they've been married, what do you do outside your job? Make it personable. They're going to enjoy coming to your facility and working with you because you're kind, you're respectful. It's not there anymore. I know it.
And yet today, we need a law to allow drivers to use a bathroom.
Ridiculous. Totally ridiculous.
COVID was as shitty as things were in COVID. COVID was the ultimate excuse for everybody to say, "Oh, let's do this now," instead of finding ways to be safe. And so, no offense, if you want your shit going out the door, hey, that driver needs to and should be willing to and wanting to check that load to make sure it's properly loaded, properly secured before those doors are closed. Means you have to let them in the warehouse. Whether you like it or not, you have to let them in. Why the fuck can't now? Flip-flops, fine. The flip-flop argument that holds water. I don't know why the fuck these guys are wearing flip-flops, but that argument holds water. But you have to figure out a way to safely allow them onto the dock so that they can see their truck getting loaded, see how it's getting loaded. Hey, make sure it's loaded where as soon as it's leaving us, nothing's broken. It's secured fine. It's loaded fine. You're not going to have to come back from the scale because it's loaded by an idiot who couldn't realize you have to spread the load throughout the whole trailer, not just stick it in the nose. Then they can seal that door. They can feel confident. They can, they can feel confident.
It's much more than that, John, too. You talk about inspection, but it also enables the driver to speak to the dock supervisor that if he sees a box that doesn't look right, he can have it exchanged right then and there. He's helping the shipper from a
helping everyone. You're helping everyone with that.
Yeah, I mean, if the whole thing is listen, the most important document in logistics is called the Transportation Agreement, and there's a section under there for requirements and expectations that nobody really pays too much attention to. You can actually tell the carrier or your sales rep if you're dealing directly with an asset or if you're dealing with the brokers who's dealing out there saying, listen, this is the way you conduct business at this customer's place. It's $10 million I do business with them. Okay. I expect you to go there clean shaven with shoes on. Okay. And treat everybody with respect. I always said, John, I've said this all the time. When I was a shipper, I had this saying, I give every broker and every carrier the equal opportunity to fire themselves. Because I'm not going to waste my fucking time repeating the same thing over and over again. I'm a busy logistics guy. I don't have time for that. If you can't add up to my requirements and meet my expectations, you're gone. I have plenty in line where I can give that $10,000 to someone who's really going to appreciate it. All right? Because it's bullshit. And anybody that's worked for me or when I was on that side, no, I'm for real when I say that. I don't care about what anybody else says because they weren't in that position. But again, brand, image, reputation, right? It's in every single box that you ship out. And guess what? It's an FMCSA law. I don't know the code as far as CFR 49, but there's a thing called that the driver is responsible for all of their loads and how their trailer is loaded. If he does not like the way that it's loaded, he has the opportunity or should have the opportunity to have that product or that shipment removed and then reloaded. Simple.
Absolutely.
It's simple.
Absolutely.
How many people out there, shippers, allow that to happen? They don't give a shit, and that's it. It's a requirement.
They don't. And why are you going to give a shit when you're paying somebody $15-16 an hour, expecting them to move at 110 miles an hour all the time? Hey, you're not. So let's start right there. You're not paying these people on that warehouse floor enough to want to give a fuck. And you're also not putting that easily low-hanging fruit of, hey, I'm going to help develop you so that you can move forward in your career. You're not doing that either. You'll hold the new word for it is L10 meetings. Hey, an L10 meeting has just been introduced to me after 30 years, and I hate them, and I will continue to hate them. L10 meeting, you sit in there, and they ask you what you'd like to learn. They ask you what things that would make your job easier, this, that. They'll hold them once a week, and they'll never fucking revisit them except that once a week, and they won't actually go through. The guy we have at my place who's running that shipping department right now is really fucking good. Really good. So when they asked him the first day, when they asked him what he wanted to learn more about the sales side so that he can understand why orders are coming through the way they are, why some are instant hot and why some can be relaxed on and how that whole process works. As the guy on the dock, that's a great thing for him to know, wouldn't you say? It's been
understand priorities.
It's never been revisited.
Training. It's proper training. It's work instructions that everybody has to adhere to. If you're using a recruiter looking for dock workers and everything, you give them a copy of that and saying, this is the type of people that we're looking for. Okay. In this economy right now, with how many job listing, how fast can you get that person replaced? Pretty quick. You know,
Yeah.
there's some go-getters out there that will take the extra effort to work, to keep that job, to pay for whatever bills he can, and maybe he might get noticed or she might get noticed and maybe climb that ladder. Who knows?
But rather than invest in that person and maybe pay them decently from the start instead of paying them dog shit, and not investing time as any manager and supervisor should in developing your people. Let's start there. What do you expect them to do? But how much more does it cost you to keep that rotating door open rather than invest this time in these people, pay them a little bit more so it's more realistic, and keep their asses in that position and possibly moving forward through your organization to help it succeed in the future? There's too much of no supervisor or manager wanting to realize, hey, I need to look at myself. I got smacked in the face many, many years ago. And that was when I realized, oh shit, you have to be willing to be really uncomfortable in this business at times, because you have to be willing to admit that I can fuck up too, and then learn how to fix it. Nobody nowadays, there's not enough people nowadays that were willing to say, I can fuck up. I need to be uncomfortable. Things need to change. We all need to go through an uncomfortable period of time. I'm in a place where we have $4 million worth of dead inventory that has not been used in 3+ years on the shelves. We're still not acting on that. I got them that information 5 months ago by digging into their system myself, because nobody there knew how to do it.
I'll tell you what, the people that you hire, they show what kind of a manager you are. They have a direct impact on you. You are your people. Number one. Number two, I used to have a process called the MAP process, Management Assessment Program. You pick an individual that went beyond the call of duty and you help them climb. And when the other workers around see how much time and effort, you coach them, you mentor them, and then hopefully you know your job really well, where you're a damn good constructive disciplinarian, because everybody needs a kick in their ass. I had it all the time, and I'm thankful for the bosses that I had that helped me, guys. Okay. But being constructive to help them, and I had a saying too, I'll lead you to the water, but I'm not going to show you how to drink it. Oh, you need this. Well, here's the goal. You create it. I'm not going to create it for you and tell you to fill in the cells on an Excel or whatever, right? You create what you really want to work on, because now they're engaged. They're engaged to do things because they created it and they're going to move it forward. Good managers do that kind of stuff. The bad ones are the followers. They always blame it on others. They don't take it for the team, but those team are your people. What they do wrong is on you. You have to take the blame for that. If you train them all,
you have to be willing to get smacked in the face every now and again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A long time ago, people didn't want to work for me because I was a hard ass. I'm fun now. A lot of people say that, and like to kid around, because I learned a lighter side of it, because in this logistics industry, it's very demanding. It's very stressful. And every once in a while, when you have, like we laughed earlier and everything like that, it breaks up the monotony of the whole day, because you don't know what people are going through, And when you worked in the industry a lot, you see a lot of bad things that you don't want to talk about and stuff like that. And that's what changes your mindset. The smart people will change their mindset and saying, you know what, I can see through this person. This person is really hurting. Let's get off this thing and move into something else. It shows that you're a concerned boss. There's a lot of things out there that you don't see that anymore. It's missing.
I have to wonder. I have to wonder how much of this is generation. I mean, I'm looking at the three of us, okay, and three of us, we've all got at least just a little bit of gray on us. We've been around a while. We've been doing things for quite some time, and we've been mentored along the way in our own careers. We have been mentoring others throughout our careers. I mean, I remember when I was in warehousing, my first experience dealing with a trucker was, well, He didn't like how it was loaded. He wanted it to be corrected. I said, sure, no problem. And I dug more into it. Well, he's got the right to do that. And I wanted to understand, okay, what is wrong with this load? Why doesn't it work for you? And what can I do to make it better in the future? And he sat down and he explained it to me, which is great. And I understood finally how tandem axles worked and how you can adjust the weight. I was like, I wouldn't learn that if I didn't stop and ask the question. What I don't see from a lot of the younger generation is they don't ask questions.
Right.
They just don't ask. But I've gotten to the point where, because of that interaction, when I was driving and I had a load that they didn't allow me on the dock, I couldn't secure the load myself, and they went and they sealed it before I could inspect it. What I ended up doing is I pulled 5 feet away from the door. I told the supervisor, hey, just stand there 1 second. And I broke the freaking seal. And I opened it up. So I'm inspecting this load. Go ahead and go get me another seal, and we'll write the new seal number on the BOL. But I'm inspecting this load. And sure enough, there were 2 things that were damaged on there. I pulled those off the truck, replaced those. They gave me new ones. I put them back on. I secured it all myself. But at least now I felt comfortable.
Yes.
And that was what was important to me, was that I felt comfortable with what I was transporting, because it's my name, my reputation on the line, and I want to make sure that I'm not sitting there paying for somebody else's screw up.
Bingo.
Okay. You can be selfish and you can be driven to make sure that you are protected in what you do, but by educating others as to why you do what you do, you make the entire system better. And that's what I think a lot of people are lost on in this industry. Everyone's all about taking care of it themselves, deal with it themselves. They don't say anything to the guy next to them. They don't say anything to their customer. No one tries to fix the root cause. It's all about cover my ass and only my ass, and I don't give a shit about anybody else. I am so tired of that crap. And it's not just in this industry. It's everywhere.
No, you can't lead from the seat. You can't stay in your office and expect everybody to do their job and everything. I was always on the floor. If a truck came in, I was there with my troops, and I was in the truck helping them load. That's just the kind of leader that I was. If they can do it, I can do it. If I'm doing it, they have no excuses saying, well, you don't know what it's about because you never loaded a truck. No, let me show you how to load a truck. It's like, you as a leader, you have to lead. That's part of leading. That's part of management.
Yep. And that's why every day for 30 years I've walked in steel toes and whatever the fuck the company uniform is. Not a golf shirt, not a dress shirt, not dress shoes, not sneakers. Because if the shit hits the fan, I need to be ready to go.
Well, I'll tell you what, back in the day, we had to dress up in the office, even in the warehouse, and at the end of the month, we had end-of-month budget and sales requirements that had to be met. I brought my shoes in, I brought my jeans in, I brought badass freaking t-shirt, and I stayed there until 3-4 o'clock in the morning with my other boss that was above me, and we went in there and we loaded receivers for Onkyo USA, 2,800 of them, lots of trucks, all hand loaded, no machines, all manual. Sweating our asses off. And then we used to put banners above the door, and we used to time ourselves. And then we used to have competition with other troops saying, hey, how fast can you load 2,800 pieces in a truck, And it's just those kind of things that motivate people. You have to be a motivator. You have to be a leader. You have to be able to train them right and give them proper training, work instructions and process improvement plans. And by all means, bring them into the meeting. Make them part of the meeting. Bring in their suggestions, because that's how you motivate people. They see things that you may not see, that may not be part of a work instruction that helps with the training process. And then cross-train everybody in the office so everybody knows each other's job. So when somebody gets hit by a bus, somebody can jump in there. And a leader should always know every single person's role in there, or at least done that with experience. I don't care if you're at a broker or at a carrier or in a warehouse, anything, you should know that person's job, and you actually should know it better than them,
So John, you are actually in a really good position right now. You're about to start, assuming your background check comes back clean, you're going to be starting a new role here soon in a supervisory capacity.
Yep.
So when you go to walk in on day one, what's that first day going to look like for you?
That first day is actually meeting everybody. Okay. And then you're not walking in that door saying everything needs to change today. You need to see what their operation is like. You need to see how they're doing things. You need to learn how they're doing things. You need to be on the floor more than you need to be at the computer. You cannot be at a desk. I've never been a desk person. Sitting down for this long is driving me nuts, actually. I've worked in places where I've actually given up my office and gotten a little table out and had a laptop out on the floor so that I was constantly out on the floor. I will be on the floor. I will be seeing what they will do. Okay. Little things that I'll be able to see because they're an incentivized pick scale. Okay. Little things that I can see throughout the night. If I could see like how they're minimizing their steps, how they're stacking the pallets, things like that I can help with on night one, great. But first night, I need to see how their operation works. I need to have that entire crew meet me. Okay? All of them to know that I'm there. Not that I'm there to take over. Not that I'm there to rewrite the book. Hey, you don't always have to change the tires. You don't. Sometimes you just have to patch it a little.
Then you have to implement. Then you're going to have to implement because I seen the other place that you worked at in New York, and you have to implement 5S and 6S.
Yes, but I don't actually even use the terminology. I just make that part of what we teach.
Yeah, and the other thing is you bring that into the office. A lot of people don't understand that. That Kaizen 5S and 6S can be applicable to office operations and having the right things in the right place at the right time, and everything else can be the filed, organized or whatever. Make things more efficient, and that efficiency creates productivity, and those are the kind of things. Every time that I walked into a new place, I didn't administer anything that my predecessors did. I ripped it all up. And I created my own things because if you're good at what you do, you can fill those gaps and those loopholes that were missing all the ways. Maybe that's the reason why that predecessor was let go, because it just wasn't where it needed to be. Those are the things you need to do. You want to have an immediate impact, like you said. Go in there, watch, visualize, listen with intent. That's more important than anything. What's going on? What's the vibe of the organization, and then you can build upon that and do it in sequence. Don't do it all at once, but make improvements over time. And it goes a long way.
Yep. Like the place I'm at now, I'm sorry. The guy they hired as a new supply chain manager there right before Christmas. He's got a lot of great ideas. Actually, to be honest, he hasn't had a single bad idea. Okay. He's got a great personality. But do you know where he lost that entire crew? His first week on the job, he never came out of the office and introduced himself to one single solitary person on the floor. So he does not have anybody's respect because he spent a week there before he decided to introduce himself. And I kid you not one bad idea has come out of his mouth. Not one. They're all great ideas. They will all make that place better. Every damn one of them. His personality, his attitude, all of that's right where you would want a manager. It's all perfect, except you lost your crew there. You lost your crew before your ass even started. Biggest mistake anybody makes is to think you have a fucking office job. You don't.
You not as a logistics manager.
No, sir.
Never.
Never, ever.
No.
I remember back when I first got into warehousing on the civilian side, I went to work for Pier 1 Imports at a distribution center out in Georgia. And I was on the shipping dock, and everything seemed to be okay. I had a counterpart in order fill who was pulling all the orders, and he lived in his office. I never saw him on the floor. And, I'm responsible to make sure all the trucks got out in time, loaded correctly, et cetera, et cetera. So, as everything hits my area of responsibility, which would be the staging lanes in front of the dock, I'm looking at everything, making sure everything's right before my guys go to grab it, to go put it on the truck, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, I'd see things are wrong. And then I go to try to find him because, supervisor to supervisor, we need to try to fix this. I can never find him. And then I got to go and I got to deal with it my damn self. I go pull the order, do whatever I need to do. And I basically started running his department for him because he sat in his office all the time. And where did his employees go when they had issues, when they had problems? Did they go find him? No, they came to me. They came to me because what drove me nuts about this one particular guy, he never understood that he was part of a process. And when his part of the process breaks down, the rest of it breaks down all the way down the line. Yes. Which is something that I uniquely understood. At least it seemed unique because no one else seemed to get it there. And I tried to explain, you got to sit there and pay attention to what's going on because we all support each other. And he didn't give two shits about it. I don't know how many times he drove me into the general manager's office because I was in his area trying to get things done for my people. What the hell? And I could not understand for the life of me why that was acceptable.
And that's another thing I never understood. Why is it your area? Why is it my area? We're supposed to be a fucking team. Let's help each other out, please. What the fuck? That whole thing, everybody's heard this sales versus ops. Anybody heard that one before? Jeff, you haven't heard that before? You haven't heard?
Yeah, I mean, I used to write processes for S&OP. And work instructions because one can't live without the other. Can't.
Why does it have to be sales versus op? Yes, I understand you have to have cutoffs. Okay, so that you can get that crew picking those orders to get them palletized, to get them ready, to get them on the trucks. I understand you have to have cutoffs, but you also have to have the common sense, especially depending on what industry you're in, to be a little bit flexible. Okay, especially now, to realize that sometimes you'll have a tech issue out there with sales and the iPad may screw up and not transmit properly. Okay, they may, if you're in the beer business, bar owners, they don't know if that keg is going to kick that night when they go check it out and it's still half full and they're like, no, I'm good. Then all of a sudden they get a rush. They don't know that's going to happen. Oh, sometimes shit happens, especially when it's a seasonal product you're shipping. So you have to be flexible on those deadlines to an extent. But also, we had our sales department, my last job, we had them start to send us what was on special. So like if they had a 12-pack deal, $5 off, if you ordered over 10 or over 25, and then we'd be able to catch key errors on the warehouse floor because I turned around and made my guys aware of those sales. And if they saw, oh shit, this particular brand, I have 25, 22-ounce bottles versus 25 12-pack cases. That doesn't seem right. We'd contact sales, okay, and we'd catch a key error before it even left the fucking warehouse, just by communication. It's the simplest thing. Why the fuck can't we just talk? Why does it have to be a battle?
God, I almost actually miss the days that I ran warehouses. I
miss it. I miss it. I really miss it dearly. But I mean, with sales and operation, listen, if you've got a new product line, sales has to talk to operations because operations has the inventory and has to store it. And then they have to know, claims cost per pound, product pound value. It's like you have to now tell your LTL carriers and your reps, say, we got a new product line. This is no longer 77.5. It's an 85, class 85, we'll put that in there, for mitigation and all. There's so much stuff I could go crazy on this kind of stuff. It's like a lack of communication, a lack of respect, I mean, it's just like how fragmented the industry is, fighting fraud. The same thing happens in an operation of a warehouse where we should be here. We're like this. We're miles apart.
And because you're miles apart, guess what you just did? All of that fraud that you guys fight and you guys speak of and we talk about on LinkedIn and everywhere else we've talked about it, whether it's a lounge, whether you guys talking about it on Road Dog this morning, okay, whether it's even when Dooner comes back, places like that, okay, you opened the door because you just can't talk because you just want to be cheap. Come together because your business is going to fail if you're here.
Amen. Hell, you can hold the show on that comment. I was waiting for John to do the mic drop, or more like I was waiting for your wife to do the mic drop for you.
No, don't
Quiet it down, especially now that these died.
Oh no! It's coming. I can tell it's coming.
She's here, so.
Yeah, what I'm waiting to see happen. What I'm waiting to see happen is I'm waiting to see New Tech really start getting into warehouses to help improve the verification part. The problem is that we need people who own these warehouses to actually step up and start implementing these things. I'm thinking specifically of groups like OnSite. We had them on the show, Jeff, a few weeks ago. All we need is somebody to sit there and look at a system like OnSite and say, hey, you know what? This will help us make sure we're loading the right people, the right time, the first time, and be done with it. Boom, done. Efficiency made, minimal expense sent out. And, oh, by the way, by the time it's all over and done with, we add to the bottom line. And, oh, no cargo's missing, so we're not paying claims or anything like that. Oh, I want to shake people's so much in this industry. Is there shaken logistician syndrome? Does that exist? I know we have shaken baby syndrome. Is there shaken logistician syndrome? So I want to sit there and I want to take a bunch of logisticians I know and I want to shake the crust out of them.
You may have just created it.
I'll get a hold of my wife. I'll have it put into the DSM-7 whenever that comes out. Jesus. You know what? You know, that's a great point. And what happens is that unfortunately logistics managers get into this bowl syndrome, of, hey, if it's not broken, why fix it? Because they can't see it because they've been doing it the same way, the same time. And then when you get another different set of eyes that have worked in those kind of things and know a tremendous amount because they had preview of all different types of operations, go in there and be able to pick up an issue just like that, that's where the value add, there's so much value add in something like that, what I call the hidden bank opportunities, that the money's always been there. They didn't know it. You found it, you brought it back to the bottom line, and they really didn't have to do much about it to increase their profits. They just didn't see it because they worked in that and didn't realize that it was a problem until it was brought to their the forefront. So I mean, it is what it is.
The worst word you can be in this industry is complacent. The minute you get complacent, you're fucked.
I like being uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is my spot where I like to be. When I'm uncomfortable, I start thinking like really, really deep. And it's a great place to be uncomfortable, because if you're uncomfortable, you're learning. And if you're not learning every single day, if you're not learning something new every single day, you are going to be lost. There's no way I could have made it through 46 years if I was complacent and I didn't learn and adapt to all the different types of systems, from WMS, the TMS, the SAP, Oracle, Manhattan, I could just go on and on and on. It's like if you didn't adapt, you would not have lasted in this. You have to go with the flow and add things in too, because if you have been in the industry and even the evolution has changed and the tech and all of that, but if you witness something, a lot of the techies out there haven't worked in the industry as far as in the trenches and stuff. Those ideas can be added and applied to the tech to help them be even more efficient, by having that practical experience. You need more of that as well. You really do. You just can't assume, because you know what assume means, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, it's that's why I like beta testing a lot of things. I'm working with a company that I just had a phone call with that or new, and they want me to beta test them before they go out to market on a few things, because they want to see if it really is what it is and if it can be applied the way they want it to be applied, because they're new. They're young, they're new, and they're looking for advice. And if I could help them out, I don't want anything in return. I'm not the type of person that, hey, I did this for you, you better give me something. I'm not that way. I love helping people, So those are the things. You just get them a second set of eyes on what you want to build. Don't be like, oh, it's intellectual property, I can't really tell anybody on this, and stuff like this. Come on.
Yeah. No, but education is so damn important, and trying to understand what's going on in the world around you. Because let me tell you something. The bad guys that are out there are constantly studying us. They're constantly studying what's going on in the industry. They're constantly looking at trends. They're constantly looking at stuff. I've come across a new form of scam just yesterday. I'm working on a case right now with investigators at FMCSA, and we are seeing where a carrier who uses a Gmail email address, fairly good carrier, been around for a few years, been no issues, no problems. But suddenly they're being impersonated, but they're not being impersonated in the traditional ways that we're seeing. Somebody created a website using their company name. They bought the domain. They created a website under that company's name. They changed the phone number and the email address for the company on the website. And now, because they have the domain name, all the brokers out there think that, oh, well, this is actually the correct contact information for the carrier, the bad guy stuff, not the stuff that's sitting in Safer, which is the real person stuff, because it was Gmail and stuff like that. So there's a new scam evolving where carriers are going to get hijacked because they're still using public domain email addresses and don't have their own websites. And they're going to lose legitimacy. So I'm working with FMCSA to reverse engineer that scam, how that works, and how carriers can then protect themselves in the future. But if I didn't reach out to FMCSA and talk to my contacts there on a regular basis, say, hey, what do you see that's new going on? I would not know this is happening. I would not be part of this evaluation, and I would not be improving what I give to the industry as a result. And that's one of the things that the three of us here have in common. We're always looking for new stuff. We're always looking for new ideas. We're always looking for new concepts to improve what it is that we touch every day. And that's one of the things that I love about logistics. We have that ability to do so very well here. And I can't stand that the new guys in this industry have no concept of how to do this. None whatsoever. I'm sorry. I will get off my soapbox. Okay. John,
it's not their fault. It's not their fault.
It's what they're taught.
It's not.
It's how they're taught now.
What's that?
It is how they're taught. It's how they're taught now. Believe it or not, it's how they're taught. You're taught to go get whatever the fuck belt from Lean Six Sigma is. You're taught to go get the Kaizen shit, and then you put the onus on, oh, I have to have a shadow boxed garbage can, rather than put it actually into the operation. You're taught to worry about the stupid shit, not the real shit. And you're also not taught to look deeper.
Ain't that the damn truth? We're at the top of the hour, so we need to go ahead and start wrapping this up. John, plug away. What do you want people to know? What was that?
Let me see it. Let me see
You
it.
can't have my baby. This is
Hey,
my
what?
baby.
You just heard them say, what is it?
Don't touch it.
Okay. So say hello to her, Art the Clown.
This is Art.
Okay, it's not on the camera. You need to come a
Okay,
little
here,
closer.
you can hold him. Don't hurt him.
Don't hurt him. It's a fucking bell. So this
And
is
he
Art
was
the
bringing a
Clown.
message.
And he wants this.
You're not, he's holding it. You have to make him hold it. You're not a good father to Art, okay? You're not. You're not a good
Oh
father
my
to Art.
gosh.
Not a good father to
Jeff,
He drove Jeff away.
he had to turn the camera off because then I wouldn't say.
Every day it should be in Pacific Standard Time.
Okay, John, we're going to have your wife on a lot more.
All you guys gotta do is find me I'm on TikTok, 2 p.m. every single day. I'm open to boxes. I'm there for it. Let's
Well,
go. Let's go.
The Logistics Comedy Hour. I'm Jeff. This is John.
So I think that's since you're at the top of the hour, I can't top that. I think that's where we should end my aspect of this.
This is where
There we go.
just end the show right now.
Thank you for letting me hijack you guys for a little bit. You guys are doing great things. Keep up the good work.
Oh my God.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Jeff, go ahead, man. I know you want to talk about May 21st.
Yeah. Just I got to get some composure here after that. Unbelievable. Yes. So I have the Freight Fraud Summit coming up on May 21st, 2026 in New Brunswick, New Jersey. You can go to our website, www.freightfraudsummit.com. You can see it on the banner scrolling across the bottom right there. It's going to be good. We got a lot of sponsors that are coming on board. We're looking forward to it. We've got shippers, brokers, carriers, regulators, law enforcement, insurers, you name it, tech providers, all coming, converging in New Brunswick, where we're trying to really solidify unification amongst all sectors of the logistics industry because it is fragmented. And if we're going to get on top of fraud, we have to do it as one. And the only way we're going to do it is to share knowledge and information and gain that knowledge and share it with our teams so that we're using the best practices and educating everybody that needs to be educated, that may not be that educated in certain different areas, but you need to have that experience and that education in order to move forward and stop it in its tracks. So that's what we're going to attempt to do. So,
Fair enough. Well, folks, it's been a rather entertaining show. Probably one of the most entertaining we've done, which is great. I love it. John, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Thank your wife for taking the time to join us. I'm sure
You can
we'll
call
have
me Dark Star. It's cool.
I'm sure we'll have you guys on
This
again,
was
'cause
none of this shit was planned. She just does this shit.
it's all good. My wife does the same thing. It's all good. It's all good. You know, but I'd love to hear how the new job goes and how all that starts off. If you want to take some video and stuff, I'd love to sit there and put that up. But seriously, congratulations. Good luck to you. I hope it all works out for you. And for those of you who follow us regularly, there is some question about our guest for next week, so I'm not going to say the name just yet. But in the meantime, folks, your check is sitting on the table. Please make sure you tip out your server, and we will see you next week here at the Tic Toc Diner. Take care, y'all.